What's the CIA's most disturbing experiment?
To me, um, they had a experiment that they did in Canada, and I am never so many times people are like, "Oh, well, you must know all about this MKUltra project and names and dates and locations." I'm not a historian. I don't give a shit about 99% of MKUltra. I care about the techniques and the methods and the protocols and stuff that were a result of MKUltra. I'm not like, let me go fact check and get everybody's name right and dates. I don't have any of that because it was never important to me. But they did this thing in Canada, and I can't remember the guy's name, but they took people coming in for just normal appointments, like I have postpartum depression or I have anxiety, and they would against their will do this thing called psychic driving. Had nothing to do with being psychic. It just meant psychic of the mind. And they would give them massive, prolonged doses of LSD. And in some cases, tape their eyes open like Clockwork Orange and play these videos in front of their face all the time. And they thought it was going to like reprogram their brain somehow. But what happened was a lot of the people had to learn how to walk again. They couldn't control their bladder. They had to learn how to control their urine and stuff like that again. Some of them lost 30, 40 years of memories from their life. And these were people who checked into a clinic for like anxiety. And this was funded by MKUltra, and it was in Canada. And it's so well known and it's so open that even the Canadian government paid the people's families who just got wrecked because of this thing. And the other thing they did, and there's so much mind warfare stuff that we could go into, but they did this thing called Project Midnight Climax in a brothel. And these Johns would come in like, they're like, well, I'm going to spend the night with this hooker. They take them up, the hookers take them up to a hotel room. They drug these dudes with high doses of LSD. And there are mirrors in these hotel rooms with dudes watching. Like behind a mirror in the hotel room, there's scientists watching this stuff and watching what takes place. That is the most bizarre and weird thing I've ever even heard of. They could experiment with LSD on a lot of people. Then they did it with soldiers, and the British Royal Air Force did this with, or British Army did this with LSD. And LSD was just like the rave of the time because the CIA thought it might be this miracle mind control drug because these videos were coming back from the Korean War of these Americans getting brainwashed and stuff. So they're like, there is something happening to these Americans that we don't have the technology to do. So it was a psychological arms race, or so we thought it was. It was just basic stuff. It was like very basic brainwashing stuff.
What were the results of that midnight?
Nobody knows.
No?
Nobody knows. Yeah, I think it was just studying the effects of LSD and the effects of what they call interrogative suggestibility. So, can I make you confess to stuff? Can I get intelligence out of you if you're a captured asset of some kind? And I don't think they published anything afterwards, like some after action report or anything.
It was an interesting time period. I won't go into this too much, but have you heard, did you know they were testing like LSD in dolphins in the 70s? And do you know why they had to stop doing that?
No.
It was because, Robbie, do you remember this? Yeah, it was one of the female scientists was having sex with a dolphin named Peter, and the dolphin ended up like getting depressed because she was taken off the project, and then he like took his own life, and that's why they stopped running LSD on dolphins. Yeah,
killed itself.
Yeah.
How?
I don't remember.
Holy smokes!
But yeah, we covered this a while back. It just made me think of that. But
wow.
On Hypnosis, would you say you're one of the best hypnotherapists you've come across?
No idea. I don't do therapy. I don't know a lot of other hypnotists. I haven't tested their skill levels. I have the #1 best-selling book in hypnosis for 5 years straight, I think, on and off.
What can you not hypnotize someone to do?
There's no limit.
Can you hypnotize me right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
But anyone listening, we have to do these legal disclaimers of if you're driving a car, if you're operating machinery, you got to pause or turn the tape off or what, not tape, but stop the video. They would have to do it. Let's go into the science of it first if you want to,
Yeah.
and how it works. So the first like 7-8 years of our life, our brains are spending most of their time in this brainwave state called theta. And theta is kind of like a deep meditation and relaxation. And it makes us way more ready to absorb data and absorb information. And that's how we learn language so fast. We learn to walk so fast. And all these amazing insights are coming to us as little kids because we're in theta state so much. And hypnosis is a way that gets our brain back into that theta brainwave state. And it does it by a few ways. We're relaxing the physiology of the body, which is not always necessary, but it definitely helps. And when your body relaxes and your brain is relaxed, it releases this neurotransmitter called GABA, which is gamma aminobutyric acid. And it is the brain's calming down mechanism. It's called an inhibitory neurotransmitter. So it tells everybody to like, hey, let's calm it down. Don't need to worry about things. It's the safety chemical is essentially what it is. So if you're with a hypnotist, there is a way that they speak in a certain way that relaxes the body and relaxes the mind and then obtains a whole lot of focus. And that's kind of what hypnosis is. Theta wave brain state plus focus plus a desire or some expectation that something positive is going to happen. And most hypnotists will tell you, you can't be made to do something that you normally wouldn't do. You can't be made to do something against your will. That's not true. That is absolutely not true. You can be made to do a lot. So like, I think it's important. There was just a case in Washington State where a hypnotist he was an attorney. Have you heard about this?
Mm.
He was a lawyer and he had this female client who was going through a divorce. And he would hypnotize her in his office to like say, oh, I'm going to help you relax. I'm going to help you, get rid of some of these negative beliefs. And he was sexually assaulting her under hypnosis in his office. And she was taking her clothes off and all this stuff. And I've heard a few hypnotists say, well, she would have done that in her normal everyday life, or she wouldn't have done that. But I want you to understand that if I can change context, I can get you to do anything. It's like, you're not thinking about killing me. It's not something that you would think about doing. But if you genuinely believed I was coming at you with a knife and you had a gun, I've modified the context and now it's okay. So your permission in your brain of like, I can't kill this person. I'm not thinking about it. Everything radically changes, right? So if this lawyer, I don't know how he did it, but this lawyer who's doing the sexual assault modifies the context and saying like, well, you're probably going to get naked today, but not here in the studio, but probably when you take a shower, you're going to get naked. So if I hypnotize you and then change the context to you just getting home from work and putting your keys on the entry table, putting your wallet down there, walking into the bathroom, turning on that nice hot shower, feeling that steam, and then it's time to strip down and get in the shower. I didn't modify anything about what you normally do, what you're doing against your will. All I did was change context. So if a person can change and manipulate context, which we're seeing in politics right now, if you look very closely, everything that's going on with manipulation is about three things, and it's PCP. So I modify your perception, which allows me to shift the context, which changes permission. Perception, context, and permission. Everything is about that. So always be on the lookout for how your perception is being modified, because the next thing that they will change is the context. The context enables you to do things that you would have never otherwise done, like throwing a Molotov cocktail through a Target store window here in LA. So it's always perception, context, and then permission. But the thing is, like, when something is extremely good and capable of helping people, we might be able to use that same technology to do something bad and to hurt people. So it's kind of a double